Welcome, flip clock fans. You're looking at the stuff of horror stories. Or maybe it's just a flip clock. It's the Panasonic RC-6040. This clock is filthy and needs a new light. That's the primary purpose of this video, to show someone how to replace a light in clocks like this. But we're going to talk about this clock's role in the 2005 version of Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds. This clock played the role of what can best be described as a movie mistake. Normally, I don't like leaving stickers like this in place, but it was there in the film, so it's staying. In Amityville Horror, the Panasonic RC-6040 is seen in 8 scenes. But in the third scene, the RC-6040 changes to the 6040, and then back again. What kind of sorcery is this? Ryan Reynolds wants to know. So what do we have here? A Panasonic RC-6040 that looks every bit like it's been down in a spooky basement for some time. The light is out, but the clock works and the whirligig is spinning. The focus of this video is to show step by step how you can replace the light in this clock and clocks like it. For example, the Panasonic RC-6010, 6015, 6030, 6025, and others. There are differences in disassembly, but the basic task is the same. What a mess. I'll clean all this by blowing and brushing it out, but the main thing is that I will remove the speaker and get the top cleaned up. To remove this mechanism, you remove 4 screws on the bottom. Then you'll have to unscrew the small circuit board from the clock base. Now the first thing that you have to deal with is this blue light filter. But beware, these things want to break on you. We're going to replace the light professionally, that is, remove the leads from the circuit board and replace the whole light. Whatever clock you're working on, you need to chase back the leads and get access to where they are soldered in. But first, the light filter. Very carefully, you need to pry the filter from its seat. Don't just try to pull it off rapidly. Take your time. You're going to go through 3 or 4 ways of breaking this filter. People often ask for them when looking for parts. Don't be that person. Take your time. Removing the light is one of those times when you can break this filter. You've got to be a little aggressive to pull this light out, unfortunately. You can use small tools to try to free it because the shrink wrap is often stuck to the plastic. Don't worry about the little bits of wrap left. Your new light will not be shining through this, and shrink wrap will be covering this. Perfect condition. Just take your time. Now isolate the leads and figure out where they come through on the underside of the circuit board. Now what I'm doing is applying some pulling force with my pink tweezers. You don't have to be brutish here. The soldering iron will do the work, just a little force. There are plenty of opportunities to burn things here. I suggest that you tread lightly. And that's how it's done. That was fairly easy. Same with the other. Hold the heat on steady and keep a slight pull on the wire. And that's it. Now you need to get these 12-volt 50 milliamp incandescent bulbs, 5.5 millimeter diameter. You can order these direct from the Miniatronics website. Link to the product in the description. I like to apply white shrink wrap to the bulb. It makes them look the same and fit the same in the bulb holder. You can use a plain lighter for this, but don't hold it under the flame. You'll overheat it and often comes out sooty looking. Use the blue part of the flame to shrink this down. Just replace the bulb like you found it. Careful, this is another place people break the bulb holder. There is no positive or negative to worry about here. Just place one of the leads into one of the holes. You're going to do the opposite now. Apply very slight pushing pressure as you solder from the other side. It'd be great if a hole is left, then you can skip this step, but usually it's done this way. Just apply heat and the wire should come through. Sometimes there's enough solder left that it closes down on the wire and you're done, but here we will have to add more solder. There are tutorials online about how to solder properly, but I'll give just a few pointers. You need to heat up the wire and the board spot to a degree. Then the solder, when melted, will adhere to this area. The smoke is from the solder. It's what's called flux core solder. That's normal. Just don't breathe that. Same process for the other side. Let's see how it goes. There it is. Now just a quick test to make sure the light works before we assemble. So you see the blue filter is supposed to make the light whiter. Now another opportunity to wreck your bulb holder. Getting it back in place. Take your time. I'll clean up all this and do a few things that I could show in another video, but for now I'm going to talk about the cleanup. It's so much easier if you can get the clear front plastic piece off. This technique is specific to the RC-6040. It seems obvious that you would pry up on the black tabs there, but that's not correct. What you do is get a tool or blade. You need to pry up on the clear plastic to release it. Firm but careful. I'm pulling away with my left hand here so I can feel it release. There you go. Now to the kitchen sink before the wife gets home. People often ask, what's the best cleaner for flip clocks? Basically, do not use anything around your clock that smells. No alcohol, it will dull your wood grain clock finish. No strong ammonia, it will remove chrome paint. No chemicals at all. Water and soap is your friend. I like Dawn dishwashing liquid because it rinses easily. I'll clean the front piece in the same way. I don't use rags, just my hands and soap and water.
You just want to kind of think about getting all those circles. As soon as you won't be able to tell you've missed some until after it dries a little bit.
Now let's check out the sound.
Eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Hear that? The sound of adorable little birds in your garden. And if you were here, the two sweet but tiny tomatoes you grew all by yourself. But you're not here.
You're in a cold, musty basement with a haunted flip clock that changes models right in front of your eyes.
Now what's more scary than that? The alarm. Don't even ask me. There it is, a sort of movie flip clock from Amityville Horror. Just be careful when working on these clocks for the first time. Take your time. Couldn't resist. Thanks for taking the time.